4 months ago, my son's former girlfriend forced him to perform 1,000 burpees as punishment for eating a slice of birthday cake, then mocked him when he collapsed, exhausted. I recorded her callous remark, "I enjoyed breaking him," but when I confronted her, she just smirked and said, "At least I moved on to better." I turned and left without a word. This morning, I noticed 47 missed calls from her therapist on her phone. When my son Ethan came home and hurled his basketball off the porch, I sensed trouble brewing. I knew better than to barge into his room demanding answers. Teenage boys like him often lash out, telling you to back off. Instead, I waited until the next morning, preparing a warm omelet to coax him out. But his room was empty. A faint grunting noise drew me to the backyard shed. There, Ethan was sprawled on the ground, sweating profusely mid-push-up, counting 65 when he finally saw me. "Dad, we need to talk," he said, his voice strained. He recounted what happened at basketball practice. His ex, Chloe, had given his favorite hoodie to her new boyfriend, Mason, the team captain. When Ethan demanded it back, Chloe sneered, "It finally fits someone with a real build." Mason flexed in the hoodie, and the team erupted in laughter. I looked into Ethan's eyes, expecting pain or heartbreak, but instead saw a fierce, almost manic determination. "I'm done being the weak, chubby kid everyone mocks. I'm changing everything." Initially, I thought this could be healthy. Exercise might help him process his emotions. But within 2 weeks, he'd shed 20 pounds. His teacher, Miss Carter, called, concerned that he was dozing off in first period. When I asked him about it, he showed me his phone's alarm history, 4 a.m. runs followed by 5 a.m. gym sessions. "Success demands sacrifice," he'd say, his expression cold. The changes accelerated. I caught him doing burpees at midnight after accidentally eating a piece of cake at school. When his grandmother visited and served her signature lasagna, he sat clutching a Tupperware of plain chicken, ignoring her tearful silence. "I can't afford junk food," he'd mutter, forcing down dry protein. His voice broke as he added, "She used to make me walk behind her at school so no one knew we were a couple. I'll become someone she regrets losing." 2 weeks later, he'd lost another 20 pounds. One afternoon, I broke a promise to myself and read his journal. The second page hit me like a punch. Mom knew I was overweight and never told me the truth. Ethan's mother died when he was 11, battling an eating disorder. She'd cook him lavish meals while starving herself, collapsing in our kitchen with her final words to him. "You're perfect as you are, sweetheart." Now, Ethan was punishing himself the same way, convinced her words were a lie. I suggested therapy, recommended by a family friend. I braced for defiance, but he just nodded as if he'd expected it. For weeks, he attended sessions with Dr. Marcus, who reported good progress. Ethan even started joining me for breakfast occasionally. I thought we turned a corner. Then 6 months later, the police called. They found Ethan in Miller Lake at 5 a.m., not trying to drown himself, but training like a Navy SEAL in freezing 40-degree water, lips blue, hypothermic, still swimming laps. When they pulled him out, he kept muttering, "I'm not weak anymore. Tell Chloe I'm not weak." In the ambulance, he begged paramedics to measure his body fat. At 58 and 119 pounds, he was skeletal. Chloe showed up at the hospital wearing his hoodie, Mason smirking beside her. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she said, then added, "but I was just honest about the hoodie." Ethan woke, saw the hoodie, and began laughing, a chilling, unhinged sound. "Of course you're wearing it," he repeated, unable to stop. The nurse administered a sedative as Chloe retreated, but Ethan's heart rate remained erratic. The doctor warned me his body was failing. They started forced nutrition, but he kept tugging at the tubes, whispering, "It's making me fat." That night, his heart stopped twice. They revived him, but the damage was severe. He woke once more, asking, "Dad, am I lean enough now?" I told him he was perfect, always had been. He smiled faintly and said, "Don't lie like Mom did." Ethan died at 3:30 a.m. from cardiac arrest caused by malnutrition and hypothermia. I didn't speak, not from lack of grief, but because I knew Chloe had to face consequences. Outside the funeral home, I sat in my car for 20 minutes watching her Instagram story through tears. She posed in Ethan's hoodie, mascara artfully streaked, captioning it, "R.I.P. Ethan, forever loved," with 3 broken heart emojis. My hands shook as I watched her cycle through filters for her staged sorrow. The parking lot had emptied after the service, but Chloe stayed, her friends consoling her as she clutched the hoodie like a trophy. I noticed a faint mustard stain on the sleeve from Ethan's last burger with me, 3 days before the lake. I approached and calmly asked for the hoodie. Chloe's eyes brimmed with tears as she pressed it to her face, claiming it was her only keepsake. Her friends glared at me and Mason stepped in, telling me to let her grieve. Behind him, Chloe's tears vanished for a split second, replaced by a smirk. Then she whispered, "Ethan always wanted to be like Mason anyway." The words cut deep. I walked away as she buried her face in Mason's chest. Resuming her act, Ethan's coach, Mr. Daniels, stopped me before I left. He looked guilty, admitting he should have intervened during the hoodie incident. Then he revealed something chilling. Chloe had a history of targeting boys, collecting mementos from her conquests. I drove home in a fog, but by morning, my resolve hardened. I couldn't let Chloe rewrite Ethan's tragedy as her story. I saw her selling memorial bracelets outside school, using Ethan's senior photo, the one where he was still healthy, for $15 each, pocketing the profits. She'd even used his last Instagram post, a photo I'd taken of him playing basketball without permission. My sister called, worried I was acting erratically since the funeral, suggesting grief counseling. I realized Chloe was painting me as unhinged while she played the grieving girlfriend in Ethan's room. I found a hidden notebook behind his desk. Page after page detailed Chloe's cruelty. November 5th, she laughed at my voice in front of her friends. December 20th made me wait outside during Ava's party so no one saw us together. January 25th called me her starter boyfriend when she thought I wasn't listening. The next day, Chloe's mother, Mrs. Evans, called, her tone polite but firm. She acknowledged my grief, but defended Chloe as a young girl who'd made mistakes. The underlying warning was clear: back off. I created an anonymous social media account that afternoon, posting screenshots of Chloe's public grief alongside her cruel texts from Ethan's phone. The contrast was stark. Mason's parents invited me for coffee. They were uneasy, noticing changes in Mason since he'd started dating Chloe. Something felt off, they said. In Ethan's backpack, I found more of Chloe's trophies. His team photo with hearts drawn around Mason's face, his physics notes she was now using. She posted these as sentimental memories, but I noticed price tags on her memorial merchandise. Chloe's friend Lily messaged me privately, admitting she feared Chloe but lacked proof. She deleted the message quickly, but I'd saved it. My brother visited, urging me to move on, warning that Chloe's family was considering a restraining order after the funeral confrontation. But I couldn't stop. Ethan's archived texts revealed Chloe had called him her starter boyfriend directly, early in their relationship. I noticed Chloe with a new boy, Ryan Lee, another overweight kid from Ethan's grade. She posted gym photos with him, captioned with inspirational quotes about transforming his life. The pattern was restarting. Work became impossible. During a marketing pitch, I zoned out, thinking of Ethan's transformation. My boss suggested a leave of absence. I used the time to document Chloe's actions. The school counselor, Miss Harper, dismissed my concerns, suggesting I was projecting guilt. Her daughter was Chloe's friend, so I wasn't surprised. I followed Chloe to the mall one Saturday, watching her try on clothes, Ethan's hoodie tied around her waist, laughing carefree. Ethan's friend Noah broke down over coffee, forwarding screenshots from a group chat where Chloe mocked Ethan's vulnerable texts the night before the late Ethan's grandmother noticed my fixation, but supported me, whispering that she'd seen Chloe smirk at the funeral. "That girl's eyes are hollow," she said. Another boy, Lucas, Chloe's ex from freshman year, contacted me. He'd been in therapy since their breakup, too scared to warn others until Ethan's death. I documented everything. Chloe's GoFundMe raising $8,000, her Etsy shop selling memorial items, her sponsored fitness posts exploiting Ethan's tragedy. Chloe's mother called again, threatening legal action, but Mason's mother texted me, "Keep going." Noah revealed Chloe had used him to deliver cruel messages to Ethan, thinking it was just drama. He hadn't realized he was her pawn. Chloe started a grief group at school, wearing Ethan's hoodie like a shield, framing herself as a victim of toxic masculinity. I recognized her tactics from Ethan's journal: isolate, gaslight, collect trophies. The janitor, Mr. Lopez, shared that he'd overheard Chloe and Mason planning the hoodie stunt in the gym. I tried warning Ryan Lee's parents, but they saw Chloe's influence as positive, noting his 30-pound weight loss. Chloe's lies grew bolder. She wrote college essays about losing Ethan to toxic diet culture, posting excerpts for sympathy. A girl named Mia, who knew Chloe in middle school, revealed a similar case. A boy named Owen, driven to suicide after Chloe's torment. She'd kept his jacket as a trophy I stayed composed at school events, documenting Chloe's behavior while seeming to move on. Parents began noticing her patterns, publicly comforting Ryan while her friends mocked him. She announced a memorial fundraiser for Ethan's birthday, claiming proceeds would go to an eating disorder charity. I knew she was funding a spring break trip. Ryan's sister begged for help. He was running at midnight, hiding food, mirroring Ethan's descent. At a restaurant, Chloe snapped when a waiter mentioned Ethan, complaining about people not letting her move on. Her mask slipped, and Mason looked uneasy. She later offered to co-host the memorial, threatening to paint me as a toxic parent if I refused. Her friend Lily caught her practicing grief faces in a bathroom mirror, recording the chilling performance. Mason's friend Dylan shared texts proving Chloe planned the hoodie stunt weeks in advance, aiming to maximize Ethan's humiliation. The community started connecting dots. Chloe's trail of broken boys spanned multiple school activities. A parent network formed to monitor her, alerting each other when she targeted someone new. Mason, disturbed by Chloe's cruelty, recorded her bragging about keeping Ethan's hoodie as a victory prize. Parents who'd supported Chloe apologized, seeing her calculated grief. Her scholarship prospects faltered as colleges questioned her fundraiser's legitimacy. Another family came forward, a boy from freshman year, driven to attempt suicide after Chloe's torment. She'd kept his shoes, flaunting them online. I ensured Ryan got help discreetly. His parents intervened after seeing my evidence, getting him therapy. Ethan's teachers and coaches created a school board presentation on recognizing psychological abuse. Chloe's narrative collapsed as victims spoke out. Her fundraiser was canceled after her trophy collection, a box of labeled items from broken boys, was exposed. In a final bid, she offered to return Ethan's hoodie if I stopped exposing her. I recorded her admitting she felt no remorse, only annoyance at maintaining her act. The truth spread. Former victims, parents, and teachers shared stories, dismantling her facade. Her parents sent her to a residential therapy program, returning Ethan's hoodie with an apology. On Ethan's 18th birthday, we held a real memorial, victims sharing stories, supporting each other. A scholarship in Ethan's name now helps students affected by psychological bullying. Chloe's coached apology from therapy mentioned her ruined college prospects, revealing her true nature. Our parent network became a model for other schools, protecting future victims. Ethan's hoodie, now clean of its mustard stain, sits in his room, a reminder of his smile and the shield we built from his tragedy.